clue about the speaker's attitude or how he feels about what he is saying. For instance, we can get a good idea as to whether someone is interacting or being kind, being hot, or lying. Pitch can be understood as the quality of a sound that is governed by a vibration producing it. In short, pitch refers to the degree of highness or loudness of a tone. Tone is a certain pattern of pitch movement by means of tone. The speaker signals whether what he and she say is a proclamation, an agreement, a disagreement, a question, a hesitation, or indicator of completion and continuation of turn taking in speech. Tonic syllable. Tonic syllable is the most straight syllable with the tone front. This syllable is more prominent than the other and will tend to be longer in duration and louder than the other straight syllable in the utteration. The tonic syllable is normally the primary straight syllable of the last content word in an intonation phrase. Intonation phrase, tone unit, intonation unit or true group. In phonetic, an intonation phrase is a passage of spoken material that has its own intonation or melody. Also now at intonation group, phonetic phrase, sound unit or sound group. The intonation phrase is the basic intonation unit. In phonetic only, the vertical bar symbol is used to represent the boundary between two intonation phrases.
Start with the basics. What is pitch anyway? When we're talking about languages, pitch is the highness or the lowness of your voice. In other words, it's the frequency of the sound waves that you produce when you're speaking. We often think about pitch when we're talking about singing or playing a musical instrument, but it's also extremely important when you're speaking English. When it comes to spoken English, pitch is the highness or the lowness of your voice. We move up and down between these pitch levels throughout our speech. When it comes to language, intonation is how we change and vary our pitch to communicate meaning. Intonation actually plays several different roles, such as helping us interpret and understand different emotions and attitudes, enabling us to decide whether someone's making a statement or asking a question, or making it easier for us to process and remember what people are saying. Intonation works together with other elements of speech, such as pace, volume, stress, and emphasis, to help us communicate clearly and understand each other. Now that you understand why pitch and intonation matter, let's talk about how we use pitch when speaking American English. We normally speak within 4 main pitch levels. We use our baseline pitch when saying unstressed words and syllables. This is where our pitch naturally rests when saying less important function words like of, by, at, to. It's also where our voice rests on unstressed syllables, such as the t in today, the e in ready, and the and in umbrella. Since we say so many words and syllables at this lower pitch, it should feel comfortable and easy for you. If you find it hard to hit higher pitch levels, you may be starting with your baseline pitch a little higher than it needs to be. The next pitch level is one step above our baseline. When you're emphasizing keywords and syllables, your pitch is going to rise slightly above your baseline pitch.
Intonation has four major functions, namely attitudinal function, accentual function, grammatical function, and discount function. Firstly, attitudinal function. Attitudinal function expresses the speaker's attitudes and emotion to the topic or as a response to the listener's statement and add additional meaning to the semantics of the statement. It allows us to express emotion. Finality, confidence, interest, pride, joy, pain, irony. This can be done by tone, the choice of which is context dependent.
Intonation as a grammatical function uses rising and falling tones to indicate questions and answers, new and old information, and finished and unfinished sentences. In yes or no questions, the intonation usually rises or rises then falls. For example, do you like animals? In questions that contain a question word such as who, what, when, where, why, or how, the intonation usually falls. What's your favorite animal? In contrasting questions, the intonation rises, then falls. Do you prefer cats or dogs? Intonation often rises with old information and falls with new information. I like cats and dogs, but I really like rabbits. In question tags, the intonation falls, then rises if the answer is uncertain. You aren't afraid of wolves, are you? If the answer is certain, the intonation falls. You aren't afraid of wolves, are you? In short answers, the intonation falls. No, I'm not. Finally, intonation often rises with lists of information, but falls at the end of the sentence. This is a useful way of indicating that you've finished speaking and someone else can talk. I have a dog, 2 cats, 3 rabbits, and a horse.
Then, accentual function. Accentual function distinguishes between old and new information in more utterance and direct the listener's attention to the silent point of the message. For example, I want to know where he's traveling to. She was wearing a red dress. Finally, discussed in function. Intonation can signal to the listener what is to be taken as new information and what is already given. It can indicate when the speaker is indicating some sort of concept or linguistic material in another tone unit. In conversation, it can convey to the listener what kind of your response is being expected from. Number 1. Attention focusing. In case of attention focusing, tonic stress is placed on the appropriate syllable of one particular word in the tone unit. The tonic stress is placed on the words what is the most important. For example, she went to Scotland. He went to the drawing room. Number 2. Sometimes the stress is placed on the syllable in terms of information contained. The more predictable a word's occurrence in a given sentence, the lower its information content will be. Tonic stress is be placed on the word with high information content. For example, I have to take the dog for a walk. I have to take the dog to the vet. Number 3. Exception. In many, it is still difficult to explain the tonic placement in terms of importance or information. For example, the coast is on fire. The wind is breaking up.
We normally use a full tone in this case. A. The end of declarative underrib that gives a statement. I have bought a new motorbike. B. The end of reply to a question. When are you leaving tomorrow? The end of a topic question which asks for information. How long have you been learning English? E. The end of comments. Don't close the door. E. A question tag that requires confirmation or seek an agreement rather than a real question. The text may follow a statement or an exclamatory sentence. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Is the idea for a picnic? F. A noun phrase added to a W-word question to clarify the subject or object of the questions. How long has she been teaching English? Your mother? G. The end of clause containing new information. See you on Sunday, but I'm going to a holiday at the weekend. 8. The end of indirect or more polished request. Would you mind holding it? I wonder if you could help me.
Our voice falls at the end of a sentence or any time we wish to express finality and certainty. I just gave you an example. We use falling intonation for statements. I enjoy music. I can read musical notes. The difference between those two sentences is that with music, I have two syllables to work with. Music, music. I'm going up in pitch on mu and then down in pitch on zik. In other words, I'm going up on a stressed syllable and then I use the following unstressed syllable to step down. Music. I have to go up a little first because if I want to come down, how can I jump down or step down if I'm already standing on the floor? So I have to go up a little in order to come down. I enjoy music. I enjoy music. I'm making this key change in pitch on the word music because that's my focus word, the word that receives the most stress. The verb enjoy is a content word. It's stressed. But I can't stress enjoy and music equally. It wouldn't sound natural. Let me try. I enjoy music. I enjoy music. Sounds unnatural. I have to give stress to one of my content words. That's my focus word. And usually it's the final content word in a sentence. I enjoy music. I enjoy music. When we have two or more syllables to work with, as in music, our voice can step down. It's a bit easier to change our pitch. But with a word like notes, there's only one syllable, so we can't step down. Our voice has to glide or slide downward. The syllable is long enough for us to change that pitch. But again, we have to go up a little first in order to slide or glide down. Notes. I can read musical notes. I can read musical notes. Notes. Go up a little and glide down. I can read musical notes. I can read musical notes. My pitch changes on the word notes. That's the final content word, which makes it the focus word of the sentence. I can read musical notes. I can read musical notes. I can read musical notes. Does every sentence have only one focus word? Well, if you've watched my oral reading fluency series, you know about thought groups. Longer sentences break into thought groups. Each thought group has its own focus word, so we say each thought group with one intonation pattern. We're starting with shorter sentences so you can master one intonation pattern at a time. Later, we'll work with longer sentences. We also use falling intonation in WH questions. Those are questions for information, and they begin with words like when, why, how. Listen. When is the performance? When is the performance? Who sang that song? Who sang that song? Again, you hear me either stepping down or gliding down in pitch. Try repeating sentences after me. First, we'll step down from a stressed syllable. I'll say each sentence a few times before asking you to try. Jason is a talented rapper. Jason is a talented rapper. Jason is a talented rapper. I play the piano. I play the piano. Piano. I play the piano. When did you start playing the saxophone? When did you start playing the saxophone? Saxophone. When did you start playing the saxophone? That's an accordion. That's an accordion. Accordion. That's an accordion. Who owns a xylophone? Who owns a xylophone? Who owns a xylophone? Now we'll glide down on a single stressed syllable. Who sang that song? Who sang that song? Who sang that song? I didn't know you played the guitar. I didn't know you played the guitar. I didn't know you played the guitar. Why is the music so loud? Why is the music so loud? Why is the music so loud? Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. When do they go on tour? When do they go on tour? When do they go on tour?
Raising intonation generally indicates non-finalities. Right information typically occurs in this circumstance. A. The end of tone units containing the information that has been mentioned, already known or implicit image. B. Vocative that indicate the addresses. C. Question tag that show uncertainty request answer. You didn't do it, did you? D. Yes/no question to make sure that about something. Are you a student? E. Direct questions, offer, and suggestion. Let's go to the theater tonight, shall we? Would you like some tea? Can I help you? F. Phrase or double-word question to get the speaker repeat what he/she has said. That's it again. Sorry. G. A noun phrase referring to the subject or object of the statement before it. They look so cute. These dolls. 8. List. All the items listed in an entering have a raising tone, except the last one which has a falling tone because it's and a piece of the message. She took a camera, an umbrella, a hat, and sun cream.
Rise for tone convey certainty, exclamation, strong conviction, or strength of feeling of the speaker. Rise for tone typically occurs in the following cases. The first is exclamation. Exclamation can be statement, phrases, interjection, signal question, with a signal surprise, excitement, anger. In their person, then the tone rise at beginning and gradually fall at the end. I have example. What's a good idea? Dreadful. Aren't they beautiful? How's very nice of him. The tone rises on the first part of the question and falls on the last part after all. I have example. Would you have fruits, juice, or ice cream? Is he leaving on today or tomorrow? And next part I have conditional sentences. In a conditional sentences, the tone rises in the if clause and fall gradually in the means clause. I have example. If you lives here, I won't work for him. And unless he contacts, he won't forgive her. Here we have question functioning as succession. We have example. Why don't you go to see the doctor? In this case, the pitch goes up at the beginning and gradually down at the end.
Forthright intonation convey hesitation, uncertainty, reluctation, or reservation on the part of the speaker. The tone falls and then rises in their circumstance. The first is incomplete. Incomplete statement. Incomplete statement signals the speaker unfinished thought. He hesitation to fully express his/her thought in the span. I have example. Do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice, but I don't like it. Next we have the end of the was blown or there is blown by a cloud. I have examined what he needs in earning as much money as possible. My problems is I don't know how to get there. The next part I have the end of a related clause includes sentences if the information in the clause is given. I have example. Where are sandwiches? It is the dog that ate all sandwiches. Next part we have the end of the suspected answer given by the questioner. I have example. Where are you going? Shopping malls? And what are you wearing today? The dress you wore yesterday's dress? Next part we have the phrases or a clause showing contrast or comparison if this information is meant to be given. I have example. Although I work hard, I don't earn much money. I'd rather watch film on the TV rather than go to the theater. Rise or fall right intonation is also common in the following cases. First is subordinate clause or subordinate phrases. I have example. Unfortunately, we got lost on the way home. And the point is it can overcome the phobia. And next is Aquatic communication, such as greetings, letter takings in expressions of time and other social formulas. I have example. Good morning and see you next week.